Alright, welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 tutorial, and today we are going to be building a very quick sample level. This is going to cover everything that's kind of been in the tutorial series and a little bit of extra for you all, just so you guys can go ahead and kind of get a feel for how you can start integrating all of this together, all the material we covered, and really build out your own level. So again, this is going to be a kind of a speed run of it and just showing some basic concepts. I'm not going to get too advanced, at least I'm not going to try and get too advanced, and this should be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we begin, I just want to point out here, for speed and effectiveness of the video, I'm not going to be creating any of the landscape blended materials. Instead, we are going to use the plugin Landscape Pro Auto Gen. I'm going to be showing a little bit of how you can use this in material instances, but we're not going to create the actual base material for that. So you'll see what I'm talking about. To get that plugin, just in case you're unaware, it's right here in the Epic Games or Unreal Marketplace. This is permanently free and is right here. You just sign in to download it, and then you just click on this. You'll be able to add it to your Epic Games launcher, and then from the Epic Games launcher, you just click Add Project, and you're able to add it to your project. All right, and it should pop up here as STF right here. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do here is just build out my lighting by using the Environment Light Mixer. And that's pretty good. Nice good start. Obviously there's the sun. And with all of that said, let me go ahead and show you the reference image of what we're trying to build here. We're going to try and build somewhat of a beach scene, somewhat similar to this. I know that's a little grainy, maybe not the best reference image, but something similar to this. Nothing too crazy here. So just so you can see, I'll not have that up on the screen, but I'll kind of be toggling back and forth between that so you can kind of see the goal here. Alright, so that's a pretty good start with the sky. See if it created a post-process volume. It did not. I'll probably come back and do the post-process volume later. Let's go ahead and create a folder here and call it lighting. Boom, click on this, drag it in here. Boom, and there we go. Alright, cool. I'm going to go ahead. I'll fix up the lighting later, actually. Let's go ahead and head over now to landscape. Now, for the landscape here, I don't need this to be too big. So I'm going to go ahead and scale it down just a hair here. Let's go in the wrong way. Let's go ahead and do like 50 here. Yeah, that should be fine. All right, cool. We'll do 50, and I'll go ahead and create the landscape now. And here's our nice little landscape. Now let's go ahead and go back into select mode here. I'm going to create a basic player start object. This is obviously where the player is going to start. Go ahead, drop them down in here. Boom. Rotate them around. Cool. All right. Now let's go ahead and start sculpting this landscape. So first things first, I got to think about where I kind of want the water to be. I kind of want the water to be over here on this side here. So I'm going to go ahead and shift this down. Kind of create a nice general indent here for the water. And then I kind of want it to even up and level out kind of like this. Now there is a plugin inside of Unreal Engine 5 for water. I'm not going to be using that for this video. I'm going to show you a different way to do water using the landscape pack that I think is just a tad bit quicker and easier to grasp, but you are more than welcome to use the Unreal Engine 5 plugin if you want to create the water. All right, so there's a nice little terrain. Excuse me, this is phrasing up a little bit. There we go. There's a nice little area for the water here. I'm going to smooth this out just a little bit here. Doesn't need to be so rough. All right, so next I probably want some hydro erosion right here on the shoreline. Really want the strength to be high because obviously the amount of, I know it's not rain, but the amount of erosion from sand or from the ocean is a lot. So want quite a bit of an erosive map here. You can see here, getting some nice erosion here right on the shoreline of our area here. Now I'm going to turn down the tool strength a little bit and just kind of come back through here and add just a little bit of erosion Cool. Now before I go any farther, I do want to add just a little bit of height to the map. So some areas kind of where it's a little bit bigger. And start kind of adding some general height to the map. Cool, so that's just some general roughness here. Now I'm going to go ahead and smoothen that out just a little bit, turn down the tool strength, kind of get everything looking more uniform and not just like a whole bunch of circles everywhere. Boom. It's pretty good, and then it adds a little bit of erosion with this. So this would be more of erosion from sand. I'm going to actually really kind of strengthen this up a little bit, kind of get a nice uniform erosion map here. Cool. All right, I'm a pretty big fan of that. Wrote this down just a little bit probably, but yeah, nothing too bad about that. I'm a fan here. This is kind of where I'm starting again. Kind of looking at where our scene's going to be here. I'll probably move the character back just a little bit here. The player starts back. We go back to here. Boom. Move this back just a little bit. There we go. Cool, cool. All right. I'm a fan so far. All right, I'm actually going to send my scalability settings up just a little bit here. So I can get a little bit more good look at what this is going to look like. I'll set it to medium for now because I don't want my computer crashing at all. Kind of getting some nice lighting. I may change up the sky a little bit here as we go. Maybe change where the position of the sun is. But let's go ahead and jump now into the material instances. I'm actually going to set my scalability here to epic. Hopefully we get some nice good definition and no crashing. Would be the hope, but you never know. All right, cool. So as you can see, this is rendering a lot better now. All right, so moving right along here, let's go ahead. I already created a material here. Let me go ahead and actually delete these all. All right, so in the content drawer, you may not have this materials folder, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder here, call it materials. Okay, and then inside of here, I'm going to create a folder called landscape materials. Base materials. And material instances. Cool. All right. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. Here's my landscape material. Now I'm going to go into this Landscape Pack Pro here, and I'm really just going to grab this right here. I'm going to drag it into the landscape materials, and I'm going to say copy here. And as you can see, it made a nice little copy. Now I'm going to come over here, and I can actually drag this into there. But first, let's go ahead and find some materials that kind of match the beach. So I'm going to go, I'm going to go to Quixel Bridge right here. This is going to allow me to grab some materials, and let's go ahead and type in sand and see what pops up here. So we have a beach boulder, beach with sand, gravelly ground, beach sand. See how this looks. That's pretty good. Let's actually see here over my reference image. Kind of want a whiter sand, but I can actually kind of change the brightness of that sand to really get it to envelop a little bit better. Kind of looking at the reference image here, the whiteness is very bright here, so I'll probably change the whiteness on the sand here as we get going. This looks a lot better, more like sand not by the water, and this looks like sand by the water. So I'm going to go ahead and download both of these guys. And just kind of give it a second because I did do it at the highest quality here. I'll probably grab some of these beach boulders. I'm going to download them at Nanite. Nanites. And you know, some pebbles wouldn't hurt either. Yeah, we'll just start off with that just for now. All right, cool. So all of that should be downloading, and that all that stuff is going to be under content in Megascans when it pops up here. So hopefully they'll finish downloading here. Still downloading a little bit here, as you can see. Just going to give them a second. While that's going here, I'm going to come here, and here's my landscape material. To assign that, I'm going to come in here. Here's the material instance that I made for the landscape. I'm just going to drag this in right here, and this is going to allow me to start using the paint brushes here. Now what's really nice about this is you can actually open this up, and you can actually come here to dirt, and you can actually assign a different diffuse map here. So I'm going to type in sand, because we just downloaded some sand here, and it looks like the textures for the stuff aren't quite in just yet. Let me go ahead and save. Boom, let's go ahead and check back in the content drawer. We still don't have that stuff. That's okay. Come back out up in here into Quixel Bridge. Gotta click add. There's that one. There's the beach sand with the pebbles. Let's grab these two guys here, add these two. Cool, cool. All right, now I also probably want some trees. So let's type in, let's figure out some 3D plants here. And I'm definitely gonna want something that's gonna look a lot like these palm trees here. So these dragon trees here, or maybe even, yeah, I can go with these guys. I'm going to go with these guys. I think these guys will be fine. Let's go ahead and download these guys. These are not downloading. We'll let that go. All right, so now I have like my beach boulder and stuff, and as you can see, the sand stuff is here. Cool, cool. That's what we wanted, and that should all be under Megascans. So anything you download from Quixel is going to go right here in Megascans. Let's now go to my landscape material here. Let's go ahead, and now when I type in sand, we should have some sand textures pop up. As you can see, here they are. So let's go ahead and just do the first one here. So, boom. Let's grab the normal map as well. Boom, boom. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and save that. All right. See if we can get a good roughness mapping as well. I'm actually just going to clear that out because we don't have a good roughness. All right, so there should also be, so this one's dirt. This is forest, grass 1, grass 2, rock 1, rock water. Let's come here. Let's see what we want to change. I'm going to come here to forest. We're going to make this one the other dirt or the other sand. There are ways to change the names. I'm not going to do that right now. You can kind of just keep this how it is. Boom. Clear this guy out. Cool. And we'll just go rock water, because why not? For this guy. Boom, and we're going to go sand. And this will be the sand with pebbles. Boom. Okay. So this right here wasn't something that we necessarily covered in the tutorial series, but this is a way that you can kind of start adding your own materials to the material instance right here. And this will allow you to essentially start creating like your own like materials to start painting with. So to start painting, you're going to come over here to the paint tool, as you can see here, and then you just got to start assigning layers. Oh, did I pick? I may have assigned the wrong layers to the wrong thing. Let me double check here. Should be able to come to material, landscape material. Alright, that's correct. Let's drag this in. Cool. Alright, there we go. Save that up. Alright, now coming back over to here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to dirt here, which is that nice material of the sand, and there it is. So you have a nice, good looking sand base here for everything. That's a pretty good beach sand. I can't really complain about that one too much. Here's going to be the sand with the pebbles. And then let's see here, we also had one more forest as well. Cool. So now I can actually start kind of alternating between these guys and start painting with that material. And as you can see here, it's kind of going over here and painting this on. May not have set this one exactly up correctly. I'm actually going to go ahead and use just the forest layer here. Kind of go over this again. I'll probably do a little bit of blending here as well as we get going, but we'll get into that as we move here. So something else that I want to add as well is I kind of want to change some of these divots. I think some of these divots were a little too much. They kind of look good, but now that the material has been applied, not too big of a fan. So let's come here and start flattening these guys out just a little bit. Boom, and then, all right, let's go back over to this, and now let's add the water before I forget. So a quick little way you can add water. It won't act as water in a physical game, but for right now it'll work just for this basic level design course and level design just final project, I guess. All right, I'm just gonna scale this brick out kind of like this. Scale this out this way. It's pretty big. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this up. Okay, go back into landscape mode here. I'm going to go ahead and push these guys down. No channels. In our nice ocean. There we go. Now I'm going to go back to selection mode here. I'm going to go into that SDF that we saw, and you have some waters here. And all you're going to do is just drag this on, and there you go. Now you have a nice little mesh here that kind of looks like some water. So checking back here, it's definitely looking a lot better. I'll probably do some post-exposure here in a second. But I want to go ahead and kind of manipulate up. Actually, we're going to go back into select mode here. Kind of change the size of this just a little bit. Kind of over just a hair. This should be fine for now. All right, cool. So going back over into the landscape mode here, coming to our paint tool here. I'm actually going to come here to the forest layer. Yeah, let's go to the forest layer here. All right, so I'm gonna come in here, boom. All right, so looking through here, this is kind of what I have assigned to the forest layer. I'm gonna go ahead and click into the texture here, which is this one. And I'm gonna go ahead and change the brightness a little bit. So it's a little bit brighter in the way it looks. We'll just give it a second, I double the brightness. So now it's gonna be a lot like lighter sand. And you can really see some of the definition in the sand as well there, kind of some of the small little pebbles. So go ahead and save that. And just give it a second. Boom. Okay, coming back here, and then we should probably look at that, let's see, it wasn't the grass, it was the rock. So no, rock with water. So that's not the right one. Let's see here. I want the beach sand with pebbles. It's definitely not the right map either. Where is it? Beach. Here it is. Boom. Definitely a lot better. Definitely kind of want the brightness down on this one a little bit, so we'll go 0.7 for the brightness. Give that a second. With pebbles. There's our normal. And there we go. All right, so that should be a lot better now. All right, let's go ahead and start painting this up. So coming back into here, we have our dirt, we have our beach rock wall with pebbles. Let's go ahead and start shading this up a little bit. It's actually, I'm actually gonna go ahead and do a subtractive blend here. Come back a little bit. See here, turn down the tool strength a little bit. Come back to the just a regular dirt here, kind of redo that up a little bit there. All right, come back here to this guy, and we're gonna turn down the tool strength just a little bit and do a subtractive blend so it goes ahead and kind of mixes together. So now we kind of have that nice little pebble look here. I'm gonna go back here. I'm actually gonna change the scale here quite a bit. We'll do that. All right, back in the landscape mode. I'm gonna go ahead and really emphasize kind of the water coming out here. Kind of want this. I might change the brightness back up just a hair. I think it might be a little too dark for what we're going for here, but I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up just a little bit here. Kind of create a nice smooth here. All right, now coming back to this dirt layer, I'm gonna go ahead again, have that subtractive blend on so it kind of starts to blend these two paints together. Just kind of touching up here. As you can see, I'm kind of getting like a little bit of a darker shade now in the areas. Just touching it up here. I'm gonna turn my tool strength down, turn this down here, and I'm gonna smoothen this out a little bit. Kind of get a nice smooth vibrance here. Cool. Now, obviously I could spend a lot of time going through all of this and really kind of adjusting things and manipulating things to make it look really, really, really good. I don't want to spend too much time on this tutorial really doing a ton of landscaping stuff. So I kind of just did this so you could kind of get the general idea here, but I'll go ahead and create some general darkness here as well. Come here and do a smooth here. Get this to smooth out. Come here. So now you kind of have a nice array of sand. So a little bit darker sand here, a little bit lighter. Kind of looks like the water kind of hit it, and you can kind of really get a nice view here of what this scene is going to look like. All right, so moving right along here, let's go ahead and now kind of get some of those boulders in. I'm going to go ahead and look kind of back at my reference image here. So the reference image didn't have too many boulders. It definitely had some trees, but I kind of had some rocks out here on the side, and I kind of want to add just a couple of rocks here on the coastline just to make it look a little bit nicer just for me. Oh, whoops, I closed the snip. That's okay. Oh well, I'll come back and grab that open. All right, so let's go ahead and do that now. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and go into the 3D assets here, and I guess I didn't add the trees. So let's go ahead and add the trees now. Come here, click add. Boom, and went ahead and added these trees here. And I'm gonna go ahead and just use these static mesh components here. Actually, let's go ahead and use the foliage tool since we did so much on foliage in this chapter of level design. Let's go ahead and do that instead. So here they are. I'm gonna go ahead and just check mark this guy, and I'm just gonna do single here. I'm gonna go ahead and do kind of take off the random yaw here. I kind of just want it placing straight up, and that's definitely too small. So let's go ahead and change the max size here to 5 and the min size to like 3. See if that makes it bigger. It's still way too small. Let's come here and make this like 15. Make this like 10. It's a lot better. Kind of want the scene to have the trees kind of out here on the side a little bit. Kind of want them to be like that. Kind of want this to look normal. Let's go ahead and grab a different one now. This is going to be 1 to 10 because this was 10 to 15. So let's do that for this. This will be 10 to 15. Boom, and I'm going to take off the random yaw. Pretty good. And again, I could actually put a camera here, but I just don't feel like it. I didn't show you guys how to do that in the tutorial series, so I'm not going to do something I didn't show. Coming through here again, going to take these guys off again, kind of just adding some stuff. 10, and we'll do 15 here. Just adding just a little bit of detail here, kind of make it look nice and realistic. All right, cool. So there's just a little bit of foliage here. Pretty good scene so far. As you can see, I really like it so far. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and come back over here to the landscape mode, come to the paint. Now I'm gonna add just a hair of grass here because let me go ahead and re-pull back up that reference image. Let's see where it is. Hopefully it's saved to my desktop. I did not, that's okay. So I actually have the reference image, I think right in here. We'll just pretend, yeah, I think this actually was it. Here, it was, where'd it go? Yeah, so we'll call that the reference image here. So you can see it has a little bit of grass here. Now the trees are slanted down just a little bit. I kind of like them the way they is, but as you can see, there's a little bit of grass and a little bit of other stuff happening here along the way. So I'm going to kind of add in those little areas right there. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and start adding in the grass just a little bit here. So I'm going to go ahead and repaint this just a little bit, kind of add that like grassy look, almost as if this is a little bit of an oasis area here. Cool. All right. Heading back over here, let's go back into the foliage mode, and let's go ahead and add from Quixel Bridge some plants, like some grass. And probably want something aquatic. Let's come here, maybe not something floating. Sure, we'll do some ginger lilies. Alright, so those are downloading, almost downloaded. Boom, added those. Alright, I'm gonna definitely use the foil list tool for these guys. Alright, so add these guys in. Let's go Lily. Cool. Alright, let's go ahead. These guy. There we go. Just come in here. Let's just see what a single one looks like. Definitely want it a little bit bigger than that. So let's go ahead and go 5 here to 7. Okay, go ahead and erase this guy. Come back here, paint another single one. Oh, a little too big now. Let's go 3 to 5. Boom. Go ahead and erase this guy again. Paint it. That's kind of a little bit what we're looking for here. Let's change the density down to 50 here. Let's go ahead and change these guys now 3 to 5. Change the density down to 50. Boom. 3 to 5. And change the density down to 50. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the paintbrush here. I'm going to change the brush size up a little bit and change this down. See kind of the result we get. Not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and erase all of that actually. I'm going to come back here to the paintbrush, change the density down just a little bit more. Change the brush size will be a little bit bigger here. That's a pretty decent look here. I'm going to come back over here, change this up just a hair here, kind of add that in here. Then come here, come through here, kind of add just a little bit of these guys kind of coming through here, kind of like in the brush. Yeah, I kind of like that actually, quite a bit. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of edge out the side here, although this won't really be in the shot, kind of at the end here, but gonna be some fun there. All right, so last thing here, I'm actually gonna go ahead and just add these rocks, and then hopefully that'll be the last little bit here. I'm gonna go ahead and drag this into the scene. Boom. Head over back into selection mode. Now, the cool thing about adding these rocks here is something that I don't notice a lot of developers do is you can actually just take a couple of assets and just with a little bit of manipulating, you can really make them look far different than what they looked at the start. So if I just take 2 assets here, for example, and I start kind of merging them together here, especially when you have Nanite enabled, it'll be very hard to kind of tell that they were separate to begin with. So let's go ahead and look here. This one, it's a little bit easier to tell kind of how I have it configured here, but if I move this in just a hair here, and I really focus on trying to make this look like it is 2 separate things here by really lining these up. Here, let me zoom in close with it, slow down. You can actually see it's almost there. It's almost there to where it's really hard to tell that these were 2 separate things to begin with. It's actually not too far off here. But especially in a game where it's moving fast, oftentimes if you didn't see me put this together, it would be kind of hard to tell that these 2 things were ever separate, right? And this is one of the cool things you can really do with Unreal Engine 5, like level design, is take 2 separate assets and start kind of infusing them together to create a brand new like asset. And I group these together by doing Control J or Control G to group. Let's go ahead and grab another 3D asset here. Grab this small little beach boulder here. And I actually think these guys should be kind of small like that. Really just to kind of be low. Ground here and make it a little bit bigger. Kind of like that. Kind of just drag these guys out just a hair here. Like that. By the way, I'm duplicating by holding Alt and dragging, just in case we don't remember how to duplicate. I'm actually going to come here and make these 2 guys kind of like look the same. Drag this guy kind of back a little bit. I'm also gonna duplicate this one and scale this guy up. Actually, let's do that guy. Whoops. I really do like the way that looks, especially with the rocks here. I'm gonna go ahead and make these kind of bigger. Cool. All right, last thing I kind of really want to do here, because I'm kind of getting a little artistic with this, is kind of add some beach rocks that are small as foliage. Actually, we already have some beach rocks, never mind. Let me go ahead and just make this in the foliage. You'd make this in the foliage by just dragging it into the foliage, kind of like that. And you save, now you have a foliage type. I'm gonna go ahead and select that here, kind of get rid of these guys here, grab this, and I kind of want it to be small, so even smaller than that. Let's go 0.5 and like 0. Like actually 0.2 to 0.1, kind of like this. And kind of having like, yeah, like some beach rocks, kind of like that. Kind of looks like some beach rocks here. Kind of add some detail here to the scene. Cool, cool. And I'm gonna go ahead and erase the rocks kind of on this right here. Oh, whoops, erase tool. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of that. Let me go ahead and just erase kind of here. Yeah, I think this is coming together. All right, so I don't spend all day designing this level because I think this video went already way over 30 minutes here, probably into the 35. Let's go ahead and just do a little bit of lighting and change up the lighting a little bit here. Gonna add a little bit of Raylene scattering here, kind of make this a deep, deep blue sky. Cool. I'm gonna come over here to the directional light here, rotate it just a hair here, make it more like sunset. Just the light color be just a hard darker here. Well, the reference image was kind of during day, so why don't we keep it like kind of like the reference image? Yeah, I'll stick with that. And then last thing here is going to be the post-process volume. You can kind of add this. There's many people that say to add this in many different times during the level design process. You could definitely say I waited probably too long to add it, but it's okay. And I'm just going to have, again, you could set this to limitless bounds. I'm just going to have its effect right here, just for now. Let's go ahead and see. All right, coming over here, let's go ahead, come to exposure. Just a hair of exposure. Kind of do, it's a little too much. To like 1.2. That's pretty good. We don't need to worry about the speed up or slow down. Let's think about the bloom a little bit. See if we want to raise the intensity to 0.8. That's pretty good. Let's see, come here. I'm going to do just a little bit of tinting for the lens. Saturation. Yeah, and there you kind of have it, guys. There you go. Well, that's pretty much the fundamental basics here on how to design levels in Unreal Engine 5. This kind of concludes our just little mini tutorial on how to kind of do this stuff. We're going to be diving into Blueprint next. Will be kind of the next thing that we do. But here you go, guys. I'll have to go ahead and take a nice little picture of this. I think this came out pretty well. Some small things that I could have done better, but that's okay. There was one thing I wanted to do. Kind of forgot what it was. Yeah, I think this will be fine. All right, so there you go, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on how I built this, or any just general, questions overall that you would like to ask, please let me know in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you so much for watching.